When you need to look good or go fast on a budget, normal sports cars just won't cut it. But fancy Lamborghinis and Ferraris charge a massive premium for their luxury lineup. So in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Bennie Purrie, a new supercar that you haven't heard of, with standout styling and a low price tag, plus an incredibly inspiring story similar to another mainstream exotic brand. The Purrie is one of the most fascinating supercars to debut in recent history and the first to come from Nigeria. It's built by 25-year-old entrepreneur Jerry Mallo. Mallo says he was always drawn to practical and mechanical studies in school and built plenty of miniature cars and go-karts growing up. He later won a sponsorship and attended an engineering university in the UK, but soon after returned to his hometown in Jos, Nigeria. He then founded an agricultural machinery manufacturing company called Bennie Agriculture, which means knowledge in the local dialect. They fabricate tractors, processing machines, planters, and more. The company has now grown big enough to receive government support, leading Mallo to expand his growing enterprise into the automotive industry. He saw a ton of demand for luxury sports cars in his home country and decided to bring to market the first Nigerian-built supercar, making the leap from tractors to supercars just like Ferruccio Lamborghini did nearly 60 years ago. The Purrie went through a long design process where Bennie Auto created a series of over 15 miniature models. The best aspects of each were taken and combined into a solitary design. Where they saw a front end they liked, they used that. Where they saw a top profile, they used that. Basically, they had so many minds come and collaborate on the exterior body of this car to create something that is truly extraordinary and is definitely going to stand out on the road. It's intended to be reminiscent of their logo, a leaping hare. Although some angles do look similar to Italian brands like Ferrari, the exterior definitely has its own unique personality overall. The Purrie features a fiberglass body assembled onto a custom tubular frame. It has iconic gullwing style doors, a reverse clamshell rear hatch, and a massive rear wing, plus enough wheel clearance to tackle harsh Nigerian roads. Mallo says fiberglass was chosen as the exterior material specifically for safety reasons. It's a material that's kind of similar to plastic, where it will bend and eventually shatter, absorbing most of the impact and keeping the passengers safe. The Purrie's interior is also fitted with airbags for extra protection, which is unusually rare for such a niche company to do. Generally, when small brands start out building cars, they tend to leave complex safety equipment like that out of the car for pricing reasons. But Bennie Auto says they are truly and wholly dedicated to keeping their customers safe in an accident. Now we finally arrived at the portion of the video that I least enjoy filming, because I always try to be positive and supportive in these videos, especially when it's an up-and-coming brand that we've never seen before. I definitely want to say nice things about their car, but there are a few components on the Bennie Purrie that I feel need to be pointed out for constructive criticism purposes. Handmade cars from new manufacturers almost always have little fitment issues here and there and quality control problems overall, and the Purrie is no different. The concept unveiled in 2019 had a cracked windshield, cheap-looking interior, and a pretty poor spray job done in the engine bay, plus just a ton of overspray all around the car. I definitely don't mean to be insulting towards the car, and I definitely want to see them succeed as a new brand, but these things will definitely need to be fixed and resolved before the production model comes out. And in order to try and simulate what the production version of the Bennie Purrie could look like, I put together this little render in Photoshop, where you can see I cleaned up the body lines and the panel gaps. I lowered it and lengthened it a little bit to give it better proportions, and I added a nice clear set of headlight lenses and put on some nicer wheels. In this form, it actually looks very similar to the Ferrari LaFerrari, but I think it's still unique enough to sell. Mallo himself admitted the car would have to undergo plenty of improvements before its ultimate release in 2021.
Some people have criticized too. Some people have showed us places where we could make it better. Just like I said, there's big room for improvement, and we won't stop till we get better.
In particular, Bennie Auto hopes to source a more powerful engine for the final production model. Currently, the concept we've seen all these pictures and videos of, the one that was unveiled last year, is powered by a mid-engined rear-wheel drive 2-liter motor, which outputs only a meager 130 horsepower. Even though the Purrie itself looks pretty lightweight, that low power output is only going to be good enough to accelerate the car from 0 to 60 in 12 seconds, which is definitely not anywhere near exotic car levels of performance. However, sources online suggest the brand may be considering upgrading to a Mercedes-AMG V12, similar to what's featured in the Pagani Huayra. But personally, I think this car would go great with just a simple LS crate engine. It's simple, it's affordable, it's easy to source, and it makes a decent amount of power for the price. The suspension is displayed in the back of the Purrie alongside the powertrain, where you can see it has an inverted shock design and long sway bar. This car will have to be comfortable to drive not only on high performance situations, but also at slow speeds on rough Nigerian back roads. But aside from these few technical details and the general design of the car, not much else is known about the Bennie Purrie yet. The company says it plans for a full production release just 2 years or 24 months after the initial debut, which would place it somewhere in late 2021, at which point we can hope to receive a little more information. Now, in my attempt to give you guys as exclusive of a look at this car as possible, I did reach out on Twitter to the CEO of the company, Jerry Mallo himself, on Twitter, and asked for a little bit more information on what sort of prices we can expect to see when the Purrie debuts. He did see the tweet, I know, because he liked it, but he did not leave a response with any more details about the car, so we're really just left to wonder and speculate as to what it might cost. By the way, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter so you can see all these interactions with the brand CEOs and get a little bit of a sneak preview on the projects I'm working on, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. In the meantime, we can really only speculate how much the Purrie will cost when it eventually comes out. It definitely has a similar character to the Factor Aurelio I featured just a few weeks ago, which is listed for a little over $33,000. Given the sparse interior and the low power output, I definitely think the Purrie would need to be priced similarly to be truly competitive in the affordable niche exotic space. But if the production model features updated accessories and a more powerful engine, maybe we could see prices around the $50,000 to $75,000 range, which is, again, still pure speculation at this point. If you want to stay up to date on Bennie Automotive and be the first to hear about new pricing information when it's announced, definitely subscribe to my channel down below, as I bring all sorts of exotic, affordable supercar videos to this channel. You can also check out my playlist of all the other similar vehicles I've covered by clicking on the screen right now. But most importantly, thank you so much for watching till the end of the video, and I'll see you next time.